Alright, so apparently Netflix wants to keep movies in theatres for just 17 days after it buys Warner Brothers. So if you've been out of the loop somehow, well, actually, that's me being a bit of an arsehole. You know, we've got new shit happening constantly. Every day there's new shit coming out about this, about that, shit happening all over the place. So, you know, actually, it would be fair enough if you were out of the loop. But if you are out of the loop, we've got this Netflix, Warner Brothers deal taking place. It's more of a merger from the looks of it. So the deal should be finalising late this year. It may be early 2027, I believe, if my memory on that serves me correctly. I might have those dates mixed up, but I'm pretty sure that this deal is finalising late 2026, early 2027. So Netflix reportedly wants to keep movies in theatres for just 17 days after it buys Warner Brothers. And this is interesting that this has come out, because this is actually something that I have been thinking about. It sounds like Warner Brothers is going to be under the management, under the control of the Netflix empire, but Warner Brothers are still going to be producing their particular IPs and movies and franchises, which may still make their way to the cinema, to the theatres, but for a significantly shorter period of time, because 17 days is not very long. I mean, most movies, especially movies by major studios, you know, I'm talking the Avatar movies, Marvel movies, DC movies, Star Wars movies, you know, they're there 6 weeks, a good 6 weeks. If it's something like Avatar and they end up doing insanely well, they'll just like instantly re-release it. That happened with Avatar 2, I believe. I believe they re-released Avatar 2 pretty soon after it was done theatrically. So, yeah. It's interesting. So, Netflix reportedly wants to keep movies in theatres for just 17 days after it buys Warner Brothers. In a report from Deadline on the Stranger Things Season 5 finale, which made $25 million in theatres after it released at the same time theatrically as it did on Netflix, Hollywood was said to be worried about what the streamer considers to be industry standard windows before movies are made available on its platform. And then the bombshell. Sources have told Deadline that Netflix have been proponents of a 17-day window, which would steamroll the theatrical business, while circuits such as AMC believe the line needs to be held around 45 days. It's worth noting this isn't confirmation that Netflix will settle on a 17-day window for Warner Brothers movies if and when its deal is approved. The theatre companies may end up negotiating a lengthy window, perhaps somewhere between 45 days and the 17 days Netflix reportedly is a fan of. But what's clear is that there will be a great deal of tension within Hollywood as this is all worked out with Netflix's priority, as you'd expect, blustering streaming. I mean, it's completely interesting to witness what this deal is doing to Hollywood. I mean, Hollywood are absolutely petrified, in my opinion, of this deal going through. Because, well, I mean, so the theatres are going to lose something like 12 to 15 movies a year because of through losing Warner Brothers to Netflix. They're going to lose 12 to 15 movies a year. And I mean, this is just happening all over the place. I mean, if this is the trajectory, I mean, at this point, it's too early to say whether or not this is sort of how all this is going to go. This is the trajectory for the industry moving forward. But if this does keep going, you know, I mean, there's not many major studios left, not many legacy studios left. I don't know which legacy studios are actually left, and by that I mean not owned by Netflix or fucking Disney. You know, all the major studios, all the legacy studios, all the independent well, not necessarily all the independent studios, to be fair, but you know, the big players, Fox, Paramount, now Warner Brothers, all like Lucasfilm, you know, Marvel, you know, all owned by either the old mouse over at Disney, or they're owned by Netflix now. If Netflix does force through a 17-day window, it could affect everything from James Gunn's DC Universe movie, Man of Tomorrow, scheduled for July 9th, 2027, to The Lord of the Rings, The Hunt for Gollum, December 2027. Then there's Matt Reeves' The Batman Part 2, which is due out October 1st, 2027. I'm very excited for The Batman Part 2, don't know about you. Godzilla x Kong Supernova, couldn't give a shit, really. Due out March 2027. How would the likes of James Gunn, Andy Serkis, Matt Reeves and other directors of Warner Brothers movies react to their work having less than 3 weeks in theatres before hitting Netflix? I know, it's crazy. I mean, more traditional directors, someone like Matt Reeves, I believe, would, I don't think Matt Reeves would appreciate something like that at all. I mean, his name hasn't come up. Someone like a Tarantino would fucking lose his shit. It would be just the craziest crash out ever from Tarantino. You know, I'm talking about those hardcore traditionalist directors. I think Nolan would fall into that. I'd argue James Cameron would fall into that. I don't know if you know this, but the Abyss by James Cameron, you can now, but for about 15 years or whatever, you couldn't get the Abyss on Blu-ray. Any higher quality copies, you know, if you wanted to watch the Abyss, you had to get like an original DVD. So I think hardcore traditionalist directors like Tarantino, like Nolan, definitely wouldn't go for this. I know Tarantino absolutely wouldn't go for this. Tarantino's almost like, you know, I think honestly, if Tarantino had his way, there wouldn't be any home media for movies. There wouldn't be any home media. If you wanted to watch a movie, you go to the cinema. You know, it's on for 6, 7, 8 weeks, and then it's gone. The $82.7 billion Netflix Warner Brothers deal has sparked a tough response from some members of Congress, and it is expected to face significant scrutiny under antitrust laws. Meanwhile, at least one HBO Max subscriber has already sued Netflix, claiming the deal threatens to reduce competition in the US subscription video on demand market. Warner Brothers owned streaming platform HBO Max includes everything from Game of Thrones to Harry Potter, James Gunn's DC Universe to Barbie, and its content is expected to be added to Netflix if and when the deal goes through. After its announcement, Netflix sent subscribers an email of reassurance amid concern over potential price rises. The email, reviewed by IGN, promised subscribers that nothing was changing today and confirmed that HBO Max and Netflix would continue to operate separately until the deal closes. It did not rule out future price rises, but did promise that current membership plans would remain in place, at least until the deal goes through. As for when that will be, Netflix said it expects to close the transaction in 12 to 18 months. So at the earliest, December 2026, but it could be as late as summer 2027. So my dates were I was sort of half right with what I said. I said that the deal would be finalised late this year, 2026, early 2027, but they're saying it could be as late as summer next year, summer 2027, which is crazy. It's crazy how long these huge corporate deals and mergers actually take to go through. But we have additional updates to this Warner Brothers Netflix saga. We have Donald Trump, President Donald Trump, who's got his eyes on Greenland. Don't know why I said it like that. He's got his eyes on conquering Greenland for some reason. I keep saying Greenland funny. I keep saying Greenland like he would say Greenland. Anyway, Trump's jumped in to this little saga. Donald Trump bought at least $1 million in Netflix and Warner Brothers Discovery bonds following their deal announcement, because there was actually people, not sure exactly who it was, but there were people sort of lobbying for, I'm talking about people within the film industry, within Hollywood, lobbying for Trump to step in and interfere with the deal, because Hollywood is very scared about this deal. There's a lot of concern about this deal. You know, like it was saying, going against anti-trust laws and the just total monopolization of it all. I mean, I really don't agree with it in many ways. I mean, I think it's just it's allowing such a tearing down of creativity and culture, really. So I understand a lot of the reactions against it. You know, we've got these huge, gigantic corporations like Netflix, like Disney, these multi-billion international corporations that are just, you know, flexing their muscles and buying up all of they're potential challengers, like they're the fucking like they're the fucking galactic empire, or like they're fucking Thanos. You know, Disney's like Thanos, bro. They're just Disney are buying up studios like Thanos, collecting the fucking Infinity Stones. And there's not a lot of competitors, not that you could even really compete against Disney realistically at this point anyway, just due to the market power they now have. But you know, there's not a lot of independent studios, major independent studios anymore. There's only a couple legacy studios left at this point, you know. So President Trump bought at least $500,000 worth of bonds in both Netflix and Warner Brothers Discovery within the 2 weeks following the two companies' deal, under which Netflix is to acquire WB's studios and streaming businesses, according to a financial disclosure form released Friday by the White House. Trump bought between $250,000 and $1 and $500,000 of Netflix debt securities on two separate dates, December 12th and December 16th. He also bought the same range of bonds for Discovery Communications on those same dates. The Trump financial disclosure covered transactions spanning mid-November to late December. On December 5th, Netflix and WBD announced a deal with an $82.7 billion enterprise deal. Under those terms, the streaming giant would acquire WB's studios, HBO and HBO Max and its games group, but not any of WBD's TV networks, which would be spun off into a new entity, Discovery Global, to Warner Brothers Discovery shareholders in Q3 of 2026. The financial disclosures for Trump, released through the US Office of Government Ethics, show that most of his acquisitions were municipal bonds from cities, local school districts, utilities and hospitals. He also bought bonds from other corporations including SiriusXM, Boeing, GM, Macy's, Occidental Petroleum and Whirlpool. In December, Trump met with Netflix co-CEO Ted Sarandos at the White House to discuss the Warner Brothers Discovery deal. Trump, speaking last month with reporters on the red carpet of the Kennedy Center honors in Washington, D.C., said Netflix's deal to acquire Warner Brothers Studios and streaming businesses will require a review, and said, "I'll be involved in that decision." He also said the market share of a combined Netflix with WB and HBO Max could be a problem. So is he stepping in to cut the deal off? Or is he going to alter it in a way that he considers beneficial? Is he going to alter the deal? And we'll have to pray that he doesn't alter it any further. Sorry, that was a really, really shitly delivered Empire reference. Last month, Trump said that as part of any deal for HBD, CNN should be sold as part of an overall sale or sold separately. Well, Trump hates CNN anyway, doesn't he? So that's probably why. I think CNN should be sold because I think the people that are running CNN right now are either corrupt or incompetent. That sounds about right. Trump said he didn't want the current CNN management to be rewarded by being allowed to continue running the network with the money from a deal. That's true, that's what would happen. That is what would happen. So, is Trump going to step in, interfere with this, with the Netflix Warner Brothers deal in any way, in any shape or form? Potentially some level of interference, if you can call it interference, could take place. But from a lot of what I've read, it seems to be a done deal. It seems to be a done deal. It's just we're now in the process of things getting finalised. So there could be some back and forth in a few areas, and there's still a few major grey areas, you know. Like all those Warner Brothers movies that are in development in some capacity. You know, there's a bunch of like the Batman Part 2, Clayface, Supergirl. Those are nearly done. Those movies are nearly done. And I think somebody like James Gunn, maybe I'm wrong, I don't know the fucking guy, but I think someone like James Gunn is gonna want the movies in his universe, the universe he's in charge in. I think he's gonna want to have full theatrical runs. I definitely think Matt Reeves is. I don't think Matt Reeves is gonna let the Batman Part 2 have a theatrical run of 17 days. He wants the full 6 weeks, 7 weeks, whatever it is. He wants the full theatrical run. I just don't see Matt Reeves allowing his sequel, which is the middle movie in a trilogy, and the sequel to a billion-dollar movie, run for 17 days. I just don't see that. And I think James Gunn's in a similar boat. You know, there's a lot you can say about James Gunn on the negative side, but I don't know. Maybe James Gunn is a complete sellout, which it could be. I wouldn't be too surprised, frankly, if James Gunn is a complete sellout, but I don't think James Gunn is going to want his already struggling, collapsing DC universe. He's going to want the movies, the entries in the universe to not have full theatrical runs, go for less than 3 weeks. Netflix's proposed plan when it comes to theatrical runs, it's 17 days. That's not even 3 weeks. It's not even 3 weeks. That's like 2.5 weeks or whatever. That's ridiculous. It's crazy. It's crazy that we're living in a time where you can actually get away with proposing 17-day theatrical runs, and then straight to Netflix, boy, straight to Netflix, straight to Disney Plus. Oh yeah, straight to Netflix, straight to Disney Plus. Let's get it going. It's fucking Orwellian, is what it is, in my opinion. It is. It definitely is for people who love movies, and I am one of them. It is definitely Orwellian, and it is fucking bleak as well. I'll say that. It is Orwellian and it is bleak. 2.5 weeks on the cinema, and then it's gone, and then it's on Netflix, motherfucker. It's on Disney Plus, motherfucker. Yeah. I think tragic. I think tragic. That's what I think. I think it's tragic and Orwellian that we've gotten to this point, but that's 2026 for you. So yeah, that's gonna cover it for today. So yeah, see you later.